I guess like maybe some other parts to think about that we covered last week, right? It's like, but you can also have the decision, like, on this ticket thing, right? You can have decisions if people show up for like the court hearing if you choose to contest it. Also on this arrest part, right? Like, and depending on how they file or how interested they're in, or decisions about how they contact, like the DA or write up the report can also affect whether or not you're prosecuted or not. You know, and outside of those kinds of decisions, right? If we think about stuff like within an incident, there's a lot of room for decisions, right? That can, really have like a big impact, right? So we think about within the within an incident, an officer, in order to like effect an arrest or maybe build something for like prosecution, is going to be stuff like um, within this incident, there's going to be decisions like if I choose to frisk someone or ask them to step out of the car, whoops, out of a car. If we think about decisions, right, that if I choose to just arrest you, period, right, or not. There's also decisions if I use force, right, U of F, which is what I put down here. So the point being is that within each of these, we see that these can have a big impact on the trajectory of someone. So in this particular case, right, if we have this big trajectory change, right, for the use of force, right, this could be, injury or hospital bills or, anything related to that, right? AKA your own death, really, right? We already talked about the arrest decisions for being frisked or something like that, right? Each of these, right, represents like this government action that is intrusive because it's intrusive in the sense, right, is that like normal people can't do this to one another, right? There are restrictions on it and limitations that affect, whether or not you're allowed to do that or not. So this is an intrusive act, right? And they consider carries a lot of power. So, with that like being the case, then, right? It is nice, like to consider all these aspects, right? Because these kinds of decisions, right? Are pretty impactful.